What's going on, guys? Jay the Black here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about this story that kind of went under the radar a little bit. I knew about it, but I was taking care of some other commentary, but I was going to get back to it because here you have an example of a man with no self-awareness. He's in love with a woman who has one foot out the door. And maybe he doesn't believe that, but I think that Steph is a little bit insecure. Now, do I understand that he's upset because he feels like a guy like KiIIer Mike, who he may have respect for, who's a celebrity like himself, who is saying these things, even though he's not the only celebrity who's spoken on their marriage because of the things that his wife has said. And maybe that's what made him have a meltdown and post and delete his response to KiIIer Mike, which was very emotional. Very emotional. It's almost like Ayesha Curry wrote it, you know. I think Steph Curry needs to be upset at the one person who's embarrassing him, and that is Ayesha Curry. No other professional athlete's wife has been the most disrespectful verbally towards their spouse than Ayesha Curry. And we've seen some marriages, we've seen some divorces, we've seen these athletes who have wives that are a little bit out there, but they don't go to the depths that Ayesha has. Ayesha has done 2 podcasts in a span of 10 years speaking about their spouse in a not so flattering way. Okay? So instead of Steph addressing his wife and telling her, you don't need to do no more podcasts, he allows her to do it. And not only does she disparage him, she puts out even more detailed information. Now, I spoke on Ayesha Curry's most recent podcast where she embarrassed him. I'll link it in the description box. Instead of him being upset at his wife and checking his wife, he wants to get upset at the internet. He wants to get upset at KiIIer Mike, who was just responding, who wasn't upset. He was joking, right? I don't think KiIIer Mike dislikes your wife. He's a celebrity. He's been around other celebrities. He's had conversations. He comes from a place of perspective, and to him, it's disrespectful what she is doing. It is. And the thing is with Steph, he knows that he's with a woman who didn't feel like he was good enough. And he's been trying since then to prove to her that he is good enough, that he could marry her, have a family with her. But his response is very gotten to. Now, again, I understand he is trying to protect his wife's integrity, but your wife doesn't protect your integrity. The second interview she just did on the Call Her Daddy podcast was worse than the interview she did on the Red Table Talk. It was. And you don't expect people to respond to that? You're more upset at KiIIer Mike, and you're more upset at this TikToker. Because again, Steph, we've never seen an NBA player's wife be as disrespectful as Ayesha has been to you. But you're more upset at the internet. You're more upset at KiIIer Mike for responding to it. You're more upset at the internet than your own wife for her embarrassing you, because that's what she is doing. And no matter how triggered you get, Steph, this is not going to go away. You know why? It ain't because of us. It ain't because of the internet. It ain't because of KiIIer Mike. It's because your wife is going to open her mouth and she's going to speak even more about you. Because when she did that interview, Steph, she knows she's a public figure just like you are. But she went out of her way to tell the world that she felt like she would have been much better off if she wasn't an NBA player's wife. She thought you were going to be a basketball coach. That's what she said. But here you are getting triggered, getting emotional, going at KiIIer Mike because of what your wife said. KiIIer Mike didn't make up anything that, he didn't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to go after Ayesha. He was responding to a video because, again, He's on the internet just like everybody else. You know how many you blue check mark celebrities are constantly in the shade room and these other blogs giving your opinion about other people's relationships? So Killer Mike can't give an opinion about your relationship when you have other people who give opinions about other people's relationships all the time? This is why I'm saying you're more upset about strangers and the internet than it is about your wife, who's intent on making you look like you're not good enough, even to this day. Let's get into this. According to Yahoo, Steph Curry has a reputation as one of the nicest guys in the NBA, but the basketball superstar will draw a line in the sand when it comes to disrespectful comments about his wife. The Golden State Warriors point guard hopped into the comment section when he spotted rapper Killer Mike responding to a video criticizing Steph's wife of 14 years. Ayesha Curry, TikToker Bookie Woods posted the video accusing Ayesha of embarrassing her husband, which she did, by sharing her insecurity over not getting as much attention from men as Steph gets from women. She wants to be Glorilla or some bleep, Woods says in the TikTok. Like, we get it, bro. Just go drop an album or some bleep, because that's what's going on. But again, Steph is more upset about the internet than what his wife is doing, which is undermining him. For his part, Killer Mike took to the comment section, writing alongside 3 laughing emojis. My N-word says she want to be glow. Man, Steph doesn't deserve embarrassment for real. God bless him. In his response, Steph said he comes to expect takes like these from other clowns, but thought better of the 4-time Grammy-winning Run the Jewels MC. He says, Killer Mike, nah, not you, Mike. Curry wrote in a screenshot from the shade room. I'm cool staying silent and letting these other clowns have their moment, and you're the worst of them, he wrote, tagging the original poster Bookie Woods. But you're better than that, Killer Mike. Stay in your lane and let God keep blessing me like he is. We are good over here. Steph ended his missive, I guess, as a comment with the peace sign emoji. Now, he deleted it because he probably was getting cooked in the comment section. So he deleted the post. And let me tell you the mistakes that Steph Curry made here. He wants to call people clowns, but he tagged Bookie Woods, who was a TikToker. He tagged him because he wanted him to see the comment. All you did, Steph, was legitimize Bookie Woods. You legitimized him. You didn't just stay on Killer Mike. You wanted both of them to see that. You think that Bookie's going to stop making TikToks and speaking on your situation because you tag him in the post and you delete it? And then you tell Killer Mike to stay in his lane. Steph, why don't you stay in your lane when it comes to politics? You and your wife openly supported Joe Biden years ago. And also, I believe you supported Kamala Harris. You didn't stay in your lane politically, but you want other people to stay in their lane. When your wife goes on the internet and does a podcast 10 years after she did the Red Table Talk, and not only say the same thing, Steph, but she doubled down on it. But you're upset at the internet. You're upset at a TikToker. You're upset at you upset at everybody else except for the woman who has twice now made it abundantly clear that you weren't good enough before the marriage, and that she's sick and tired of just being your wife. She wants to be something else, but she doesn't have any talent outside of maybe cooking, right? Y'all did have the show on HBO that went nowhere. So she's just sick and tired of just being your wife, Steph, but you're upset at the internet. Nobody is lying on her. Nobody's picking on her. She decided to tell the internet you weren't good enough before marriage. She thought you were going to be a basketball coach, and she would be the one who was the strong, independent woman, paying all the bills, carrying the relationship. That's what she wanted, Steph. We didn't even know this until she said this. While they first met when they were teenagers, Steph and Ayesha didn't start dating until 2008. Before getting married in 2011, the couple have 2 daughters and 2 sons together. And this is the post here. He was hella triggered. When you start tagging people, you're in your feelings. When you start tagging people, you're in your feels. You need to go address your wife and stop trying to address people who aren't in your marriage. Your wife came to the internet twice, did 2 different podcasts within a 10-year span, and told the world how miserable she is being your wife. And you're more upset at Killer Mike. You're more upset at this TikToker. Your priorities are in the wrong place. This is why the Golden State Warriors aren't winning another championship. Priorities in the wrong place. I just think that Steph is a guy who's clearly in love with Ayesha. He has those rose-tinted glasses on, and he doesn't see it. And there's been a lot of men. I've met Steph. We've seen men like you we see men like you all the time, and they always get their bubbles burst at the end of the day. They always realize that the woman that they with don't really want to be with them like that. This is why Steph is going to play until he's 50. Because Steph knows that once he retires, this marriage is over. Because we've seen this movie over and over and over. She's already planting seeds, but you don't see it. You're more upset at the internet. You think the internet is just making things up and they're just picking on her. No, they're not. Nobody would be talking about Ayesha stuff if she didn't go on the podcast and put y'all business out there. And she added more information, more context to what's been going on. And again, you're upset at Killer Mike. You're upset at this TikToker, but you're not upset at the woman who put the information out here twice. Steph, she could have spoke on y'all marriage and not add those other things in there, but she made sure to do that because she's tired of just being your wife. She knows that she is getting older and there are things that she wants to do. And unfortunately, Steph, she doesn't just want to be your wife anymore. And I think you know that, which is why you're triggered by this comment. And Steph, and the thing is, Killer Mike was just joking. Killer Mike did what you see all these other blue check mark celebrities do. They're always in these comment sections responding to things. This stuff is normal. But you got in your feelings because you know what he said is true. You were embarrassed. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video and share. Follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram. Check out all the other videos on the channel. Check out my previous video by Ayesha Curry in the description box, and I'll see y'all next one.